Hi, this is Brian McAleer here, and I'm the head coach and director of Brian McAleer Coaching Services. And you're watching this video because you might be interested in my business and what I do, who I work with, the services that I offer, and the value that I offer my clients. So I want to share with you my business model. I'm very open to sharing things like this. I don't believe in hiding it away. I want to share this with you so you know exactly what you're getting from my business. And this might even inspire you to create a business model of your own. I use the Osterwalder Business Model Canvas, which is a really cool visual way of planning your business in a simple context. And I'm going to take you through my business model now. So as you can see at the moment, this is like a canvas, and there's 9 segments to it. Each of these segments connects to the other, and I'm going to go through them briefly to explain how each segment in my business model works to give you a sense of what I do. So we'll start with my customer segments, which are basically the people in the organizations for which I create value, including simple users up to paying customers. So I work with people and organizations, and they're split into 6 categories. So I work with parents of young people. I coach parents and I run workshops for them. My coaching clients predominantly are teenagers aged between 16 to 19. And I also work with young adults from the ages of 20 to about 25. I also work with youth services, schools, and employers of young people. So they're my customer segments. So they're the people and organizations I work with on a regular basis. We'll now go over to my value proposition. So this is the specific value for each customer or organization that I work with, and it's grouped into products and services that create value for those customers. So for parents, the value I'm all about giving them is better relationships and communication with their teenagers. With teens, it's guidance to enhance their confidence, their motivation, and their performance in school, in sport, setting goals, planning for the future, finding their first job. Young adults, it's about mentoring to create life and career pathway plans. So working with young adults who are in further education, such as university, TAFE, apprenticeships, traineeships, helping them get a kickstart to their career and manage that pathway successfully. With youth services, it's helping them engage their most disengaged clients through helping them create the most effective service delivery that they can. With schools, I help teachers engage their disengaged students through increasing class participation and productivity. And then with employers of young people, I help employers who aren't formally trained in working with young people on how to manage their young staff to be motivated, reliable, and effective. So that's the value that I offer each of my customer segments. We'll now go down to my channels. So basically, channels describe the touch points from which I interact with my customers and how I deliver my value through those touch points. So this is things like my Facebook page, the Brian McAleer Coaching Services website. I also do this through emails, predominantly to parents and youth services. I also create video and audio content. I do cold calling, so I might just call up a organization and to offer them my services. And I also do speaking presentations, which are usually free, at say like a library or a community center or a business center, talking about my business and sharing case studies and examples of the clients I've worked with and the success I've helped them create. So those are the channels. Let's jump over to customer relationships, which is just above there. So each customer segment or group that I work with, I have a different relationship with them. And this is really important, is to be clear on the relationship you have with each of your clients. So with parents, it's about supporting them to be the best parents that they can be, and also advising them on how to parent young people, drawing on my experience and knowledge of working with young people. With teens, it's more about guidance. So teens aren't necessarily looking to me as a role model or someone that they want to be like. They may have their own role models, which is fine. That's what I actually encourage. But I guide them to be clear on who they want to be as an adult and give them practical steps on how to get there. With young adults, I find my relationship is more of a mentoring relationship. So I give examples of how I was a client of coaching, how I use that to create my own life and career pathways, the success and failures that I've had in careers and what I've learned from that, and how I've set goals to create long-term plans for my life and my career and my business. So I tend to mentor them more than guide them. So there's a slight difference there. And with youth services, schools and employers of young people, it's more of a guidance role when it comes to working with their clients. And I also consult with the staff of each of those organizations on how to best work with their young people. Not telling them how to suck eggs, obviously, because they're youth workers, teachers, and employers of young people, so they know what they're doing. However, sometimes there's a gap that needs filled. That's where I come in. So my relationship is about consulting them on how to solve the problems that they're having with their young people. So the fifth part of the business model is revenue streams. And revenue streams are all about being really clear on how and through which pricing mechanisms your business model is capturing your value. So I do this in 3 ways. It's through coaching, workshops, and live speaking events. So a lot of people aren't sure what coaching is, and if they seek help, they might turn to counselors, family, or friends. I present coaching as an option because with a coach and with me, they're going to get honest advice through a personalized service from a qualified and experienced professional life coach. So that's the revenue stream, and that's how I deliver that value. That's my main revenue stream is coaching. My second one is workshops. And workshops are a step up from, say, just reading a book or looking at stuff online, because it's information via practical application that's designed and delivered in a group learning environment for your specific demographic. So I run workshops for parents, and I run workshops for agencies that work with youth that may not be formally trained in working with young people in a certain aspect. So workshops, that's another way that I do it. And then live speaking events, which are usually free. They're free events where I share detailed and current case studies of the benefits of coaching for dealing with common problems, frustrations, and concerns. So normally my live speaking events are for parents, where I tell them a bit about what it's like being a parent of teens today, which they already know. Some things they may not know, like exactly what's going through their teen's mind and what they're doing and what they think of the future. And then I share examples of how coaching has helped other parents and young people that I've worked with. So those are my revenue streams: coaching, workshops, and live speaking events. Usually my live speaking events are free, but they lead people towards me who then come to a workshop or take up coaching. The sixth part of the business model is my key resources. So you'll see a little crossover here on the page. My key resources are how I describe the infrastructure of my business to create and deliver and capture that value. So my key resources are showing which assets are indispensable for my business model. So without these resources, either me working directly in them or on them, my business ceases to exist. So if I stop coaching, I don't have a business. If I'm not running workshops, I'm not helping parents and professionals. If I'm not doing live speaking events, nobody knows about me. But I also have a book that's out there doing the rounds called Setting Goals Using the Smartest Method. So I leverage that book quite a lot. You can buy it online. You can also rent it from a few libraries around Australia. And that's a good introduction to the foundation of coaching. So when you take up coaching with me, if you have at least 6 sessions or more, you get a free copy of my book. And that book really kind of reaffirms a lot of what we cover in your coaching sessions. And I also do a workshop based on my book as well called Setting the Smartest Goals. So those are my key resources. I work predominantly in the coaching space in workshops, but I also work on those as well, developing automated and more efficient ways to deliver those resources. The seventh part of the business model is key activities. So this shows which things that I really need to be able to do to perform best. And there's 3 cornerstones that make up the key activities of my business. That's working with young people, working directly with them. Secondly is working with those closest to young people, i.e. parents, youth workers, teachers. And then also developing new ways to work with young people. So I've been a youth worker for coming on 12 years now in a lot of different roles with different organizations, one-on-one and with groups. So I've tried every approach. I've figured out the pros and cons of each approach, and I've taken those gaps and combined it with life coaching to create what I call youth empowerment coaching, empowering young people through the principles of life coaching. So it's not about helping young people, rescuing them, doing things for them. It's teaching them and empowering them to be self-sufficient, self-reliable, and able to set their own goals and take action accordingly without needing external motivation all the time, because that's not always going to be there. They need to be able to motivate themselves. So I'm all about delivering new ways on how to work with young people in that space and sharing that with other professionals and parents. The eighth part of the business model is key partnerships. So I can't run my business without partnerships. So that's the people who help me do what I do. And usually this is parents. So after I coach a young person, if a parent is happy with the outcome and wants to share that with other people, they can then be a referral source and tell other parents. And that's how I get a lot of my referrals. With teachers, educators, and youth services, I run workshops for them normally. So then they can then run the coaching methods and the trainings that I offer them in their classroom, in their service, or in their learning environment. With counsellors, now the difference between coaching and counselling I like to make really clear. They're not the same thing. And if someone is experiencing significant grief, trauma, loss, depression, anxiety, other mental health issues that is inhibiting them and preventing them do some of the basic things of day-to-day life, then they need to see a counsellor. If you're in that place or you know someone who is, then you're not ready for life coaching. And I won't tell you that life coaching is better than counselling. Certainly there are advantages with both, but a lot of the time my clients have had counselling in the past to deal with more of those personal issues. Once they've worked through those, they're then thinking more optimistically. They're starting to plan for the future instead of just focusing on those day-to-day struggles. If they've come through counselling and had a positive experience and have implemented some changes, then they're ready to start building for the future. So the next step beyond coaching can be beyond counselling, can be life coaching. So I get referrals from counsellors who have got clients who have come through their process and doing well, are happy with a new and positive outlook on the future, and are ready to take those goals and make them happen. So there's a bridge there from counselling to life coaching. I also form relationships with young people. So former clients that I've coached, I'd like to ask them to share their experience with their friends, and a lot of them do, through testimonials, or they might tell a friend that they've had coaching and refer them to me that way. And then lastly, businesses that employ young people. Again, I run workshops for them, so they can then run the methods and the trainings themselves, and then refer other employers to me who may be struggling with their young workforce. And then lastly, the ninth component of the business model is cost structure. So going back to my key resources, these vary in price and delivery. The main component of my business is coaching. So this can range from an initial consultation, which is an 1.5-hour session with me, all the way up to a 3-day retreat, followed by a 9-month coaching program. So in between that initial consult and that 3-day retreat, there are various coaching programs that a client can work their way through. So I wouldn't recommend anyone come straight to a 3-day retreat and 9 months of coaching without having had 4 to 6 coaching sessions before that. Workshops. Some of my workshops include free webinars, which you can access online, up to a 3-hour workshop with a group of 10 to 15 individuals, paying various prices but based on the content of that workshop. My live speaking events are free, and my book, there's an e-version which you can pick up for about $4, and then there's a paperback version which will cost you about $28. So there you have it. In about 10 to 12 minutes, I've explained my business model. Obviously, I could go into a lot more detail on each of these elements, but I just wanted to give you the introduction today if you're curious about how I run Brian McAleer Coaching Services. This is the backbone of it. For anyone who wants to develop a business model, I highly recommend using this strategy, the Osterwalder Business Model Canvas. There's several videos about this on YouTube and articles that teach you how to apply it. So if you have any questions about my business, please get in touch. You can email me at info@brianmcaleer.com. My website is www.brianmcaleer.com. You can also find me on Facebook by searching Brian McAleer Coaching Services, and that is a Facebook page. Please get in touch with any questions that you have, or if you're interested in any of the services that I offer for yourself or someone that you know, I'm here to help, and I hope that this has been an informative presentation for you. Thanks for your time and all the best.